As chair of the U.S. Semi-Quincentennial Commission, also known as America250, Chair Rios is charged with coordinating and orchestrating the celebration and commemoration of our country's 250th birthday, which of course is why we're all here today. Now, over this past year's 4th of July celebration, Chair Rios kicked off a 3-year countdown to the semi-quincentennial with the launch of America's Invitation, a call for individuals across the country to share what America means to them, as well as their thoughts on the past and their hopes and dreams for the future. Chair Rios will be sharing with us today even more exciting programming that the U.S. Semi-Quincentennial Commission will be bringing to our nation in the coming years. Rosie's experience in public service and her commitment to preserving and honoring our nation's history and highlighting untold stories and her dedication to uplifting the voices of all Americans truly embodies the spirit of America. But what really makes Rosie stand out is her ability to inspire others in this country, its promise and its spirit, as much as she does. As one of 16 private citizen commissioners, I get to see Rosie's leadership, enthusiasm, and vision on a daily basis, and it's a privilege to serve with her. So without further ado, it is my honor to introduce the U.S. Semi-Quincentennial Chair, Rosie Rios.
Thank you so much, Kathy. You know, leadership is not one person. It is a body. It is a form of unity, and it is a common vision. And I got to tell you that Kathy Gillespie is single-handedly one of the biggest champions of our commission and of our country. I can't tell you, of all the people I am most grateful for in terms of this role as chair, it is to her and her unwavering 24/7 support of what we're trying to accomplish together. Thank you, Kathy. This is actually my first visit to Colonial Williamsburg, but it is not my last. My kids actually had a chance to come here on their field trips, and I'm thrilled to say thank you, Cliff, for this invitation. I can't be more honored to be here. And by the way, we moved our commission meeting for all commissioners to also join us here at this location. We are having a commission meeting here tomorrow. So why is that important? Because we need to go where history happens. I am thrilled to say that with the semi-quincentennial and the less than 3 years that we have until then, history is making a comeback. So I remember the bicentennial like it was yesterday. I was 11 years old, born and raised in Hayward, California, which is part of the Bay Area. I remember taking the field trip to the Freedom Train at the Oakland train station that brought around the national treasures. I remember seeing on our black and white television, the tall ships coming through the New York and Boston Harbor. I remember clearly having my bicentennial quarter because I still have it with me today. So for me as an 11-year-old girl, this is my life savings. But what I remember most about that time period was July 4th, 1976. We took a little jaunt over to the local Hayward Airport. It was a cloudy night, but I will never forget the fireworks on that evening that I can still see clearly as if it was yesterday. And I was never more proud to be an American than that particular night. And I want my kids to feel the same. So this is why we're all here. And I want to take a moment just to also introduce my fellow commissioners who are joining me here today. I have, of course, you know, Kathy Gillespie. I also have Lynn Young, Val Crofts, and Reggie Brown, also all joining us today at this luncheon. And what I'm going to share with you is a preview of a presentation that's going to be made to our commission tomorrow for approval, what we hope will become our playbook moving forward. But first, just a little kind of background on who we are and what we're doing. So we were formed by legislation in 2016, and we are appointed by the House and Senate majority and minority leaders, 24 members, 16 private citizens, and 8 standing members of Congress, 4 from the House, 4 from the Senate. We're almost equally divided, half Republican, half Democrat. But here's the beauty of what we're trying to accomplish. Not once has political ideology made its way through any of our conversations. We are representing Middle America in every sense of the word, and thankfully, we have the support of our appointing officials to do so. We say we're bipartisan. I say we're all partisan, nonpartisan. We have to go where history happens, and more importantly, go where the future is going to take us. We are also one of the few organizations that's represented by all 3 branches of government. The Supreme Court is part of our commission as well, and including other federal agencies. So I'm the only one appointed by both Congress and the President. And again, I could not be more proud to lead this effort. And we want to be collaborative. So not only do we represent the 12 agencies that are on this commission, but we also have an executive order on the President's desk inviting all federal agencies to take this journey with us. In fact, many of them are already engaged. We're working very closely, of course, with all of the state and territory commissions, the historical societies, the academic institutions, the nonprofits, and of course, corporate America, because this has to be a private-public partnership together. This is my favorite slide. So when I became chair officially at my first meeting in September of 2022, I made 2 very lofty pledges. One, I said that every state commission, of course, every state needs to form its own commission. Every state has its own story, its own history. If you look back at 1776, we are a nation of nations. Alaska was Russia. Hawaii was its own kingdom. California was Mexico. And then, of course, we doubled the footprint of our country with the Louisiana Purchase. And, of course, interspersed through all of that is the slave and indigenous experiences. Those stories need to be told, and they need to be told by the states. So we've been working very diligently with all the states. In fact, I was recently the keynote speaker at the National Governors Association. And, of course, they saw this map, and it changed very, very quickly. I am thrilled to say, when I made that pledge of by July 4th, 2024, we will have all 56 state commissions formed, including, of course, the 50 states, D.C., and the 5 occupied territories. We are thrilled that we are now at 46 states, and that is literally increasing every time. We keep updating this map all the time. It's very, very exciting. And, of course, the one left on there, Arkansas, I can tell you right now it is underway as we speak. And then this is the other one that I'm very thrilled to say. I made this, again, very perhaps naive promise that we were going to be the largest bicameral, bipartisan congressional caucus on the Hill. Anyone knows congressional caucuses, they're very difficult. They're issue-specific subcommittees of Congress. Not everyone joins them, and because they're usually controversial. Well, in fact, the largest congressional caucus on the Hill is the Adoption Caucus at about 146 members. So the fact that we are at 122 bipartisan, bicameral members of Congress, we are well on our way to becoming the largest congressional caucus on the Hill, another one that keeps changing daily. We could not be more proud, because what does that say? We have the support of Congress. We have the support of the states, and that's how we need to think about this moving forward. It is a collective effort. It is not about me. It is absolutely about my kids and our future, and you'll see that in our tentpole presentations moving forward. So, as Kathy mentioned, our first toe in the water, if you will, was the launch of America's Invitation last July 4th, 2023, as the 3-year count-up. We intentionally launched in the great state of Wisconsin, nice Middle America, purple state, at the Milwaukee Brewers against the Chicago Cubs game. We did it in partnership with our community partners, Major League Baseball, Nextdoor, which is a social media app for neighborhoods, and the YWCA. In fact, it was the first time that the Brewers accommodated what we proposed, which is a first pitch by 4 community members, a first responder, a teacher of the year, a disadvantaged youth participant in sports, and a veteran. It could not have gone better. But more importantly, we launched the official portal where Americans could provide their own video on what America means to them. To date, we've received over 1,000 videos. I will say my favorite one still to date is a family sitting around a piano composing a song about what America means to them. That's what this is about. and I couldn't be more proud. And this is an evergreen process. This is pure content that we hope is going to continue past 2026 and beyond. We need to provide those platforms for constructive comments, for those expressions that perhaps have never been expressed before in our country. How we do this in a way that makes everyone feel like this is their celebration and their commemoration. And that is our focus moving forward. So, of course, the historical aspect of what we're trying to accomplish couldn't be more important, and obviously Colonial Williamsburg represents that. So, for the 250th anniversary of the Boston Tea Party, we were not just involved, we didn't just participate, we actually worked very, very hard on the planning and implementation of what that was going to look like. In fact, it was first of all, of course, we moved our commission meeting to Boston. Again, we have to go where history happens. But in addition to that, it was our idea, in fact, it was my idea, to open up that weekend with a naturalization ceremony at Faneuil Hall. 338 people from 77 different countries took the oath of citizenship. That building only holds 700 people. So you can imagine that visual of looking out into that audience where I was the keynote, walking out into that plaza where there were still hundreds of family members who could not fit into that building. That is what I want my kids to see. Naturalization ceremonies are going to be part of our major planning efforts. You will see that most of what we're proposing is very interactive. It is very physical and it's very visual. We lost that connection during the pandemic. It's time to bring it back. And what better way to think about that than to show the visual of people who are still risking their lives to be in this country, to pursue their own American dreams. We have been given a gift. And I want my kids and this next generation to know that they've been given a gift so that they can feel like this is the land of opportunity all over again. That is one of our goals as well. In addition to that, of course, we work closely with the local Boston 250, the state commission. In fact, we literally put together the press conference that included the mayor of Boston, the lieutenant governor of Boston, and kind of put it on the map in terms of the national level of recognition that it received in the media. And of course, we were all there, all of us were there for the reenactment of the Boston Tea Party itself, where we had over 10,000 people, mostly family members, watching this and living it together. And that's what we plan to do for every historical milestone. We will be there, of course, from the 250th anniversary of the First Continental Congress in Independence Hall in July. And moving forward, that's again our plan, is to go where history happens. This first project that I'm about to share with you, America's Field Trip, is the very first educational initiative that we just launched this last March 4th. America's Field Trip is a national student competition asking 3 different grade levels a simple question of what does America mean to you? So this is our pilot program, and of course the Department of Education is part of our commission, and we want to make sure again that we started with this next generation because we want to inspire them to get engaged. The beauty of this is unprecedented. Something like this has never happened at the scale that we're proposing, because for those who are selected as award recipients, they get to have the first ever backstage experiences of discovering America all over again. So yes, it says the Statue of Liberty, but it's not just a tour of the Statue of Liberty. You will have a private boat ride. You will get to see things that most of the country or most of the public wouldn't be able to see because, of course, the National Park Service is also part of our commission. So that access that perhaps has never been offered before to anyone will be provided to these award recipients and their family member, all expenses paid, to rediscover America all over again. And we hope in the future, as we go into the full school year starting in September, that we can add Colonial Williamsburg to that list of experiences, the backstage experiences. We can keep adding all the historical landmarks to these backstage experiences. We are working up to 2026, but believe me when I say that our goal is to have these programs continue on long after 2026. And democratizing access is absolutely part of our priority moving forward. All right, you're going to see this. Again, this is still subject to commission approval, but what I'm going to share with you is a handful of tentpole concepts so that you can understand where we're heading. These tentpole concepts, I'm defining them as large, galvanizing, high-impact, and interactive experiences for Main Street America. This is not the end-all, be-all. This is just the beginning. America Gives. Did you know that there are 2 federally recognized days of service in our country? Most people don't know this. So when you think about giving back, most people do it Giving Tuesday, right? Or maybe the holiday periods when they think about their taxes. With America Gives, our goal is to focus on 3 different pillars of giving back: financial contributions, volunteerism, and public service, including military service. Absolutely. And so America Gives is focused on trying to make this a year-round effort. So those 2 federally recognized public days of service, MLK in January, and 9/11 in September. Most people wouldn't know that. Those are the 2. So as we think about giving back in those 3 pillars year-round, we want to make sure that, again, everyone's included. So we're asking corporate America, for example, to provide 1 day, 1 week, it doesn't matter. But here it is. For anyone who has high school kids, you know that most high schools require that you do community service before you graduate. Why aren't we doing that as a family? Why wouldn't we be doing that as a family? So again, volunteerism we know is happening all over America. We know that a lot of corporations take the lead on it. But how can we aggregate that? How can we make that something as part of our everyday lives, something that, again, a value on which our country was founded, which is giving back? In fact, I'm just going to announce it here, that my intent for America Gives, specifically for volunteerism, is to aggregate all those community hours for calendar year 2026. And by December 31st, 2026, in 1 calendar year, this is my promise to you, the US is going to set a world record, a Guinness Book of World Record, of most volunteer hours ever recorded by one country. Why is that important? Because what else is happening in 2026? The World Cup here in the US. We want this to be a global platform of unity, a collective voice to show the world that we are still the leader of the free world, and we are going to set the example moving forward. Because what else is happening in the US 2 years later? The Olympics. Absolutely. So as we, as a country, set the Guinness Book of World Records for most volunteer hours ever recorded in 2026, Russia, China, India, go at it, all of you, and beat us. But we were first, and we are absolutely going to be the model moving forward. Very quickly, I'm going to go through some of these other tentpole activities. So our American Story is basically America's invitation on the road. It's where we're going to go to forgotten parts of the country, the Deep South, farmlands, so people can record their American story. Not everyone has internet access. Not everyone knows how to do a video. We're going to go everywhere. We're going to go to baseball games. We're going to go to colleges. We're going to go to anywhere that Middle America lives and discover America all over again. And we're using Airstreams to do this. We're really excited about this. Again, we hope to launch this in 2025. But this is really something that, again, we want to go where history is happening, but we also want to go where Main Street is happening. America Innovates is a series of technology expos. I was born and raised in Silicon Valley, but Silicon Valley is a state of mind. Silicon Valley is everywhere. It's in Kentucky. It's in North Carolina. It's in Massachusetts. And our goal is to have that opportunity to engage this next generation with, of course, all the tech companies, absolutely, with Google, with Microsoft, et cetera. But we also work with entrepreneurs. We want to go with startups. In fact, I just spoke to the U.S. Conference of Mayors. They are so thrilled about this because a lot of these initiatives are at the city level. We want to start with cities. Again, we want to go out where not just history is happening, we want to go where the future is happening. We want to highlight those makers, those innovators, those creators. Because again, you'll see that what we're trying to do is very, very interactive. We want these kids to see their future and highlight them every step of the way. America Waves, another one of my favorite ones. What kid doesn't love to wave an American flag? Every kid I know loves to wave an American flag. We want to make a handheld flag the official commemorative item of the semi-quincentennial. Anyone who requests one will receive one, like a COVID test. You want a COVID test? We'll send one to you. You want an American flag? We will send one to you. And what are we going to do with that? We're going to pick a local moment in time. Making this up. July 4th at 2:50 p.m. America Waves is exactly that. It's taking your American flag, getting out there at your local time, whatever it is, at 2:50 July 4th. Do you know that there are 19 hours separating Guam to Alaska? sea to shining sea, wherever you are at that moment in time. You could be at your barbecue, your baseball game, your cookout, your United Taste of America. You could start waving that flag. That is your drone moment, your Be Real moment, your Insta moment, your next door moment. We're going to capture that spirit from sea to shining sea, all across this country. 19 hours, you might do it more than once, but that will be your official commemorative. And of course, we have to integrate technology into all of this. For those who don't want to wave an American flag, we will have those technology apps so you can do your flag on your phone, whatever it is that works for you. Of course, the time capsule is already part of our legislation that is well underway. The goal here is to have every state be represented, and so state commissions, put your antennas up. Absolutely, you will be included in this time capsule, which will be buried at Independence Hall. That's already underway. And of course, we can't do anything without thinking about what July 4th, July 3rd, et cetera, is going to look like. We are working on this as we speak. It's not just about D.C., although we do know in 1976, President Ford hosted Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip in D.C., but we will have activations everywhere. Of course in Philadelphia, of course in California, of course in Alaska. Maybe it's with state fairs. Every state has a state fair. In fact, Texas has 4 state fairs. So again, how do we think about this in a way that's inclusive, that people could go and commemorate and celebrate as they see fit, whether it is a destination or whether it's in their own backyard. We are working as we speak on the master infrastructure to do an interactive map and a master calendar so people can know when they click on my hometown of Hayward, California, that you'll see exactly what's happening, everything 250th in that area. This is another one I hope you are very, very excited about to be announced here, the America250 Funding Directory. So I'm on the board of Fidelity Charitable, the world's largest philanthropic organization, and something that we did as a board during the pandemic is that we provided guidance to our donors on what we thought were priority funding areas during the pandemic. My goal is to create the America250 Funding Directory, which of course, look, we can't just rely on federal appropriations. We have to make this a public-private partnership. So this evergreen document is going to include, of course, these tentpole concepts, but every single state commission has the opportunity to identify 2 or 3 priority projects that will be included in this funding directory. And that funding directory will be sent out to those foundations, those endowments, corporate America. And our goal is to get your projects funded. And if your project gets funded, switch it out and put another one in there. Again, an evergreen process that we hope to continue even after 2026. We want you to get funded. So if you haven't submitted what your priority projects are yet for your state commissions, absolutely reach out to us. We have our team over here. Jen and Ed, raise your hands. We are here. Talk to them about making sure that your funding priorities are identified in this funding document, and we will get that out this spring. Finally, our partnerships. We are very thrilled. These are only the partners that we've identified to date. We have a whole list of other partners that we are in the pipeline and making sure that we have these quarterly announcements along the way so that the momentum keeps building up to July 4th, 2026, and again, and beyond. But look, we want to make sure that everyone knows the message is very, very clear. This is a commemoration and a celebration for everyone. Our goal is to raise awareness. Our goal is to be that collective voice. Our goal is to make sure that we get, again, not just the national level, not just the global level, but the local level. We need to focus on Main Street, and that is, again, you'll see in every single one of our tentpole concepts, that is our absolute priority, and we want to be very supportive. If you have other ideas like the funding directory that makes sense to you, we are all ears. I've met a lot of folks in this room already, but the work continues, the journey continues. And with that, I'm going to end this presentation with the launch video that we used for America's Invitation, which again is going to be continuous through 2026 and perhaps beyond.
After 247 years, you could say, I've seen some things. Building a democracy from scratch, it isn't easy. Or being home to hundreds of millions from everywhere on Earth. Fact is, there have been challenges since the very beginning. Uphill battles, setbacks, and injustices. But you know, Americans, we got grit. We fight for what we need. and what's right. What we want for the next generation. We take care of each other when it gets rough. We inspire each other. Innovate together. Get the job done. And create so much opportunity. Heck, that's probably why folks have been inspired to come here for so long. And now, we've got a pretty big anniversary coming up. The big 250. So, in honor of that, we're launching America's Invitation. A chance to share your thoughts on our past, the heroes you love, and your dreams for the road ahead. Because your dreams will be our future. Your story is the American story.
Thank you.